Hello, welcome to the American Backpacker. So you're in a wilderness area on a backpacking adventure, and all of a sudden this happens. So you're caught in a lightning storm. What do you do? Well, in this video, I'm going to show you what you can do to survive and lessen the chances of you getting struck by lightning when you're in a wilderness area. So I'm going to break this video down into kind of two parts. The first is when you're on a trail, what do you do when you encounter lightning? The second is going to be when you're at your base camp. So you're on the trail or you're bushwhacking and a lightning storm moves in. What do you do? Well, the first thing you do is you want to look for shelter. Now, it's a common sense approach, and I know you're probably thinking, well, there's going to be no shelter out there in a remote area, and that's true, but you want to look for shelter if you can, if there's something around the area, an enclosed building or a vehicle. You might be starting from the trailhead when this comes in and your car's there, so that would be where you want to go ahead and relocate to. All right, if you're in a high elevation, you're on a mountaintop, hilltop, someplace high, you want to come down to a low-lying area. Terrain will dictate in this situation. Third, you want to avoid open areas. So if you're in an open area, a prairie, you want to avoid that. So here, for example, in Florida, lightning strikes are very prevalent in the afternoon, especially in the summertime. And if I'm out in the Juniper Prairie Wilderness, like I was here a few weeks ago, if I'm in an open area, I want to get out of that open area. Next, you want to go ahead and you want to avoid any type of tall objects, so trees, poles, things like that. Probably won't find any poles in the wilderness area, but tall trees. Now, if you're in an area where there's a lot of trees, you want to look for the shorter, lower lying level trees and stay away from the high trees. You see, lightning doesn't necessarily strike you individually, and most people get hit by lightning by the ground surge. So lightning strikes around them, and that strike travels through the object, a tree, and it has a ground surge, and that's what hits the individual when they're out in the wilderness area. Next, you want to go ahead and you want to ditch your backpack. A lot of metal objects in here, and you want to make sure that you take your pack off and you place it down on the ground, and you try to get at least 10 meters from the pack. All right, so again, if lightning hits the pack, any type of ground surge, you'll be far enough away, a minimum of 10 meters. Now, if you're in a group of other backpackers, you want to distance yourselves from each of the backpackers, and again, a minimum of 10 meters, preferably 20, and make sure everybody grounds their gear, hiking poles included. And if you have any type of metallic objects around you or on you, you want to go ahead and take those off as well too. Even a weapon can draw in lightning because there's metal on it. After you've ditched your pack and you're in a low-lying area, away from any type of elevation, away from any type of tall objects, you want to go ahead and crouch down. You want to minimize body contact with the ground. So you want to crouch down and you want to cover your ears. And these are the things you need to do if you encounter a lightning storm while you're on the trail or you're bushwhacking off the trail. Next, I'm going to talk to you about what you need to do if lightning comes in and you're at your base camp. So here you have your base camp established, and a lightning storm moves in. So what do you do? Well, if you utilize the acronym that I gave to you in previous videos, WESS, W-E-S-S, Water, Elevation, Security, and Safety, you're going to have an issue with the elevation, because I said earlier that you want to go to a low-lying area. If you set your base camp up in a higher elevation, you're more prone to lightning strikes hitting your base camp or around your base camp. So it's kind of a catch-22, because if you put your base camp in a low-lying area, you're prone to the flash floods and cooler temperatures. So in a situation like this, when you set up a base camp, look for a low-lying area that you can evacuate to and maybe set up some sort of poncho tarp system down there where it'll provide cover from the rain until the lightning storm moves past. If you decide you want to stay in your base camp, in your tent probably, because it's going to provide you protection because of the rain fly, etc., then here's what you need to do. For most individuals, if you don't want to evacuate and go to that low-lying area where you have that poncho or tarp set up, probably you're going to stay in your tent because it's going to provide you protection from the rain. So when I go backpacking, I have an air mat with me. Some people have a foam mat, some people have an air mat. But that is what's going to provide you protection while you're in the tent. So with the air mat or foam mat in your tent, you're going to go ahead and kneel or crouch down in the center of that air mat or foam mat, depending on which one you have. If you can crouch down, that's great, but again, you want to try to avoid contact with any of the shell portion of the tent, the wall lining of the tent, or the poles of the tent. So if you have to kneel, then kneel. But you're going to go ahead and kneel or crouch down on the center portion of the air mat or foam mat, and you're going to wait till the lightning storm comes or passes through. Now, the insulation that these mats provide is because it has air in it and it's keeping you off the ground, and the same thing with the foam. So that's what you'll do if you don't want to evacuate your base camp to a low-lying area. And again, I don't mean by packing up your base camp and going to a low-lying area. You're already going to have some sort of tarp or poncho system set up down there that you're going to go ahead and stay at until the lightning storm passes and then come back to your base camp. But if you're going to stay in your tent, then you can utilize the air mat here or foam mat for protection from the ground surge. And this is what it's going to look like. And this is what you want to do if a lightning storm comes in while you're either on the trail or at your base camp. Now, if you have any comments, questions, or concerns, you can post them here on my YouTube channel. You can put them on my webpage, Theamericanbackpacker.tv, or on my Facebook page. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, The American Backpacker. Just click on that icon below. Again, I put a lot of informational videos, and I even did an article on this that I posted on my webpage, Theamericanbackpacker.tv. I appreciate everybody's support. I enjoy doing these videos, and I try to come up with different type of informational videos weekly if I can to make your stay in a wilderness area enjoyable, but more importantly, safe. This is Andy with The American Backpacker. Thank you for watching.